What's going on, guys? You got Kwasi here for Kwasi Animation Studio and Kwasi Media Network. You are presently here on the studio channel, but today we're going to chop it up a little bit more about the NLA, the non-linear animation editor. Okay, so with non-linear animation, what we want to do, let's be honest about it, what we want to do is take our animations and blend them as much as possible. Okay, so here I have the anime version of my character Kalita Wise from the upcoming movie Kalita Unchained. Okay, but there's one thing here I want to mention. This model was built with parts from Xenoverse 2. Now, right now I have an idle playing on her in the NLA, a blink running in the NLA, and it's running at 60 frames a second. So we're going to run at 60, okay? Now, what I want to present here is the ability to take parts and pieces of animation that you already have. So if you're using animation that you made yourself, if you're using animation from motion capture that you may have done or gotten from somewhere, or even if it's just a combination of the both of the two, the NLA will allow you to be able to make alterations. Now, let me make this real clear. The thing is understanding if you're trying to get an extreme level of fluency, okay, or fluidity from animation, the biggest thing you can do is make sure that your camera is moving or positioned a certain way, because a lot of times people forget that the stuff they're looking at is probably a camera change or a cut or a switch to create fluency. Not everything has a fluid motion, because if you look at when you're moving, you're not moving like some swoopy wavy thing. You move in very fast, quick, like spurts that could last less than a frame or less than a second. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. So I'm sorry, excuse me. So what you want to do is make sure that you don't overexert yourself trying to create fluidity that doesn't exist. So let's go into the animation editor. And for the sake of it, I'm going to turn on Metcap. Well, matter of fact, I'm wrong. Let me turn on animations. We'll do it in the actual view. Okay, so we have Kalita here. And if you can see the name at the top, we got Kalita anime version. All right, so originally I was going to use this to create the series, but I ended up saying, oh, we're going to make this what it's supposed to have originally been. But anyway, that's beside the point. Now, so let's look at this. So here we have the NLA. This is the NLA editor. And there is two animations running. Okay, so this bottom one is the actual idle. Okay, so if I turn this top one off, and let's turn off the camera. Matter of fact, let me turn the entire camera section off. So this is what's running, right? This animation, okay, as we can see. But you see here that it has these dashes through it. Okay, these lines through it are it repeating. Okay, so it's repeating. So if I go back to 1, it's just only going to play that once, and it'll be done. Okay. So I have it repeating itself for the sake of this. All right. Okay, so now the thing on top, now if we click this and we go here, you see it says blending is add, but that's because I set it up here to add. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll open this. I'm going to make that a fake user. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to open this up and go replace. Okay, so now when you usually open this up, it will already be in replace. Now understand, this is specifically, and I'll make this clear, and turn this off too. Make this clear. This is specifically for this track. Okay, so when I add an animation strip, a good example, like we have a blinking animation here, this strip is on replace because it automatically starts there. So she's just blinking, but she's not doing any other motion because this animation has a fake user on it. Let's turn it off. Okay, so she's just going to do her blink or whatnot. All right. Okay, so the next thing we want to look at, and so we can delete that. Don't forget to save. Okay, Shift A. We want to add. Now, of course, you can come up here and you can go to add animation strip, but Shift A is just simpler to me. If you have a lot of them, you go, type them in and search them or whatever. Okay. So in this case, I know I want to do the this one here where it says idle hand under chin thinking. So we're going to put that one in there. She's already in the position she's going to be in for that. Okay. Now this is automatically going to play. So you see here, I don't even have the actual rig selected or the armature. Okay. So I don't have a control rig on her. I'm just using the default armature from in game. Okay. All right. So when we play it, she'll play through it. Okay. Then the animation's over. So there's nothing after this. Now I need you to see something here now, okay? When you click this, you'll see this faint strip on the end. That is saying that it's holding. But if I say nothing, it'll go away. If I say hold forward, it'll hold forward. If I say hold, it will always play. So if the animation is past it and that animation has nothing on it, it will continue. It will go back to this thinking animation, okay? And that's the premise there. But also you see it's faint line to the front because it's on hold. But if it's hold forward, that line is not to the front. If it says nothing, there's nothing all the way around it. Okay. So we put it back on hold. All right. So let's remove that. Okay. Now what I want to do is we want to start blending animations. So I have a default blinking animation. We're not going to use it because it's already set up now. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the standard idle. Okay, I want the idle to go, so I'm going to go to repeat, down here to clip action, because this will be closed. Go down to clip action. We already see it's on hold and replace. I'm going to give it a 4 on the repeat. Okay, so I'm going to click the track, and you can go to add, right? Add tracks. Okay, I already have a hotkey for it, which is F. So I'm going to click this track. Now, understand, if I add something to this right now, it's going to replace what's here in this strip, in this animation. Okay, if I hit the tab button, it allows me to go to that animation. I know you say, oh, it's repeating, but it doesn't go straight across. It is only cycling this when you repeat it. Okay, so it will replace whatever is in here underneath her armature. We don't want that. So what I want to do is go into the NLA. I'm gonna click that track, hit N, and go add. Now, let me explain why. Because when I come back up here, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to add whatever bones I need. So because of the way this is set up, I'm going to go to keying, and because I wanted just to do the selected bones only and have auto keying on. Okay, so I wanted to add and replace. Okay, but if I say only active key setting, if this go down here and it says is automatic keyframe insertion using active keying set only. So the keying set that's set up is what I already have here. This is the key set that it will actually use. Okay, if I click that, so we go add and replace, which says mode of automatic keyframe insertion or object for objects, bones, and masks. If we go replace, it's this mode of automatic keyframe insertion for objects, bones, and masks, but it will replace them completely. I'm just gonna go add replace because I may have to add something but also replace one. All right, now I'm going to give her a new blink. Now let me make this clear. If I used it on replace, it may malfunction, especially since the default animation that I have set up here has scale on it. So sometimes it'll blow your character up, or they'll be gigantic, and you go, why did it do that? Because you tried to add a scale to a scale. So it just it duplicated or it doubled itself. All right, so excuse me. So what we want to do is I will go over here because I've already layered them. Her eyes are already selected. Okay. And I'm going to hit I. It's automatically going to give me the locations for this. Okay. All right. So now since I hit that, because I like my animations to, I like my eyes to move a certain way, I'm going to select these outer ones because these are the main eyes. I'm going to push it down and do the same thing for the outer ones. Select all of them. I'm going to go +10 because that's roughly about the realistic distance of a blink. And I'm going to add +6 to that. Copy and save, and then we're gonna go so many paces, and I'm gonna paste again, and then I'll paste one more time. Okay, so here kind of want to slide back a little bit because I want to add another blink. All right, there we go. All right, cool. So now it's on add. All right, now let me make this clear. The reason why I want to add is so that it doesn't replace any other animation that may already be on the eyes, and so it allow what animations already exist to work. Okay, Now I'm gonna go to back to the main setup, and I'm gonna click. Let me come over here into the uh, outliner. And I'm gonna hold Shift and click the down arrow, and it's gonna drop everything at once. And I'm gonna close these parts, just these two, the legs and the shoulders. So I'm gonna grab her right shoulder here, hit T, and I'm gonna open up the gimbal, and I'm gonna go to origins on this on the transform pivot. I'm gonna go to individual origins, and on the transform local. Okay. So what I'm going to do, because I want this animation to kick in at a specific time, I'm going to hit I, okay, and then I want it to come in at maybe, let's say, 60. So 60 frames in, I want it to start. I'm going to hit I again. It's a reason for that, because sometimes if there's no beginning frame key, it will make the arm pop. So I want it to start that way, because understand, it is not replacing the animation from the standard idle. All right, so now I'm going to add 23 frames, and I'm going to move this forward. Okay, now let me make this clear. I did all of that. I know 60 and 83. So I'm going to grab these two parts, because I'm not going to use this. I only need these. I'm going to hit I. Now I'm going to go back -23. All right. Then I'm going to Shift D, and I'm going to take this to 0, because it's going to be the same key. Okay, now on this one and this one, I'm going to move these. So I'm going to hit R and just default rotate it. All right, and I'm going to move it forward ever so slightly. All right, let me see. Yeah, I want that shoulder again too. So I think that shoulder needs to roll up. There we go. Okay. All right, and then I'll fold this and rotate ever so slightly. Same thing here. I'm probably going to add another one to the other side, and then I'm going to grab her hand. No. Just because there's a hand in there I don't want. Okay, that one. I'm going to delete that one. Okay. So the hand in rotation here, they're not set, so I'll set them -23, because remember we went forward 23 frames. Shift D, back to 0, go forward 1. All right, and then I'm going to rotate, right? All right, because this is the bone roll, so if I roll, it'll roll the wrist too far. All right, okay, so I see this arm is twisting a little too far. All right, there we go. Okay, so yeah, I want the hand to rotate a little further. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to grab everything and then control box select, so the hand is not selected. I'm gonna hit I, going to -23 again, same thing, Shift D. Now understand, this is my own personal workflow. I'm gonna rotate location. Okay, so since this is on individual origins, I'm going to show you something here, what I thought was cool. I'm going to select this outer finger and go back to the rotation tool. I'm going to hit R, Y, and watch how the whole finger rolls. Okay, because each individual origin of the bone is rotating accordingly. Okay, so I can do this for each finger, but I'm going to just do it for just these right now. Shift Y and rotate. So this outer one, I kind of want it to be further back. I'm sorry, further in, and then the one next to it, I want it to be back a little bit. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing for these last two. Just deselect all of that. Select just these. R, rotate. And then I want this inner one, the ring finger. I'll take the ring finger and do the same thing, because I want it to be like curled in. So, I'm going to grab this one again along with these, and then we're going to rotate in. Okay, so I know already that this is, let me straighten this one back out again. All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to rotate this up just a little bit. There we are. Yep. Okay, so that's the rotation I want on that. All right, so she's going to do that action. So let's select all of this plus that shoulder. Right. Okay, close this because for some reason it was open. And then I'm going to go forward 30 frames, because because this is 60 frames a second, but I'm doing this at 30s, in 30s, even though I should be doing this in 60s. Matter of fact, let me add another 30 because it should be in 60s. This is 60 frames a second. And then she's going to go out, hold it out for 1 second. And then I'm going to add, watch this here, add, because it's half a second. I'm going to add 30 frames. I'm going to grab this shoulder. I'm going to bring it out some and up, just on the trackball. Do the same thing here. Right? Hold on, wait a minute. Undo that. We want to grab this one first. That. All right. And then on the wrist and I don't want that one. All right. So get over there to it, hitting the period key. All right. I'm going to also grab these fingers. I want just this last part. Okay, so for this one, I think it's this one, because this one's further in. This one, I'm going to pull it back a little bit more. All right, that's still not enough. All right, same thing for this one. All right, there we go. Okay, select all of that, hit I, because I want to make sure that everything is synced. Okay, now this other shoulder is not set, but I'm gonna explain why. Because okay, what I wanted to do is usually when you move one arm, the other shoulder moves. So I'll click this other shoulder, hit I, and I'm just gonna drag this. I'm gonna go back negative 30 frames, and then I'm gonna rotate it backward. No, I'm not. I'm gonna take this all the way back to 0. So I hit G, push it back to 0. Shift D 60. And then 23 I know was on 83. So to go back to 83. And I'm gonna rotate it backward. Just a little bit. And up some. Alright, there we go. Because it went forward. So if I go forward, yeah. There we go. So it's like boom, boom. All right. So I'm going to keep that selected. Select this shoulder. Let's turn the gimbal off. I'm going to select all of that. And right here, I'm going to hit I because I want all of those things selected. And then in 60 frames, I'm going to take it back because even though she just did this action right here, I want it to hold. I want it to hold a little bit. So what I'm thinking is let's add 23 frames on the hold. And then in 60, well, let's say 56. In 56 frames, we want to take it back to the 0 position. Okay. So she'll go back to the position she started in. All right. And understand this has been added. So when we push it down, there won't be any effect that'll create a problem. All right. So this camera, excuse me, go back in animation. Let me go turn the camera back on. The camera has an animation on it, but I'm gonna get rid of the animation because I don't want it to affect anything. I just want to control the camera right now. All right, let me go back in the layout for that. All right, so let's go 0. I'm gonna 0 this out right here, and this too. Okay, and go forward some on the Y. Let's just make it an even 90 and then push it up on the Z. Okay. All right. So let's go back to playback. Now let's watch it. So you see that shoulder pop back. All right. So even though she's doing that, now let's take it even further. We're going to open it back up. And what now I'm going to do, hold on, let me close this because I don't want this on my screen. So what I'm going to do is her spine one or her chest. So I feel like you tend to move either somewhere in the middle. So I'll just do spine 2. And when she goes to put her arm up, so I'll start at 60, hit I, and then go 23 and give it a minor rotation by clicking the Y, holding shift, and then turning ever so slightly. Now understand her head is not following. So I know I want her head to follow. So I'm going to click her head and neck. I'm going to hit I, come back down here, negative 23. And then I'm going to rotate back to that slight direction. So we hit 1, And I'm just going to slightly rotate it back to straight. Okay, this is a very slight rotation. All right. So when I hit everything, it'll show me all of the spots where everything is. Okay, and I just want the pieces that I use. So I'm gonna go back and reselect those. Hit I. I'm gonna select everything again. Matter of fact, undo that. I'm gonna select just this part so we can see the pieces. Come back here, deselect it. I'm going to, because I don't need to really change much, but I do know that because she moves that arm, she may come back into a straight position. So I'll just select and go back because she's kind of going back into that straight position. So she'll, right? Okay, so now we have that set. Let's go back into playback. Now let's watch playback. So you get that very slight motion of turning, like, okay. So these are the things that most people are not thinking about. They're just trying to get these little actions, but understand that there's a certain amount of motion that comes with that. So even so, here in her waistline, there will be a certain amount of movement also. Okay. Thing is it'll be here on spine 1. So we open this up. We can go to spine 1, do the same thing. We'll give the rotation that I gave to spine 2. Again, click, hold, turn ever so slightly. Her head will probably be needing more adjustment again. Hit 1, R rotation, slight rotation, very slight. But because this changed, we're gonna go and I'm gonna copy and paste this. All right, because this is gonna be the same right here that it is right there. Okay, I'm gonna grab this, hit I, and then I know that I can come up here and go to this and take it back to its default position. So I'll just click that one and copy and paste. All right. Oh, no, it's the bottom one. Yeah, it's the bottom one. Copy and paste. All right, cool. Now, come out, go back. Let's go back to playback and let's watch it. See, so that dynamic completely altered the way that it looks. So again, we're taking it further. Okay, so now, because she's doing that, let's say she's getting angry or whatnot. So now we'll go even further because they're still just adding. Again, I can do multiple layers, so I can do another layer if I want to and add a facial thing to it. And matter of fact, let's do that just for the sake of it. Again, going to select that track. We're going to add a track. And then again, it's already on add, so it's already going to be blending. And what I'll do is, because I'll go and grab these, which are her eyebrows. I'm going to hit I because we already have the whole key setting just for the sake of the bones. And when she goes to do that, let's say at about 120, push forward, and I'll say 20 frames, and she'll start to get upset. So frown, and I don't want it to change much, so I'm going to hit T and then change how that works. So again, it's playing back. So when she goes to switch her hand over, that's where I want it to go. So when she goes to switch her hand over, I want it to do this. So let's say 180. Let's go plus 60. All right. So at 180, it'll start, I think. No. Go back some. Right about there. Nope. So yeah, I'll pull it back a little bit more. There we go. See what I get. Okay. All right, so I want that to be a little bit longer. I'll just stretch it out again, just figuring out the distance, because remember we're doing 60 frames a second, so you kind of want to find that space between 1 second to the next. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how quickly an animation can change. So I'm going to click this, I'm going to push this one down. All right, I'm going to say nothing because I don't want it to no, I want it to hold. I'm sorry, I want it to hold forward, but this one I don't want it to hold. I want it to hold forward. Okay. All right, and then this one I'm going to take and I'm going to repeat it only 3 times. But since this animation is there and it's containing specific things, I want it to not do anything after the fact. Okay, so I'm going to say nothing. All right, so I want these two because I want her to still stay angry, but understand something. I'm going to select this one, and we're going to let's get tight. Let's get in there tight. So scroll forward. You can also hold control and just use the middle mouse button to stretch it. So we're going to get to that point. All right, so I'm turning this off. All right, go back to the main parts. Okay, now because right here, I'm gonna select this, and I want her to do another action. So in this case, this action is going to be her. I want her to jump. Okay, so in her jumping, I'm gonna have her jump, and she's gonna go straight into that jump. Okay, and it's all in the same position. Now I will show later, maybe at another video, how to transition between two actions that have a different location. Okay, so if we come in here, matter of fact, let's go back. So I want to deal with the camera now. All right, so let's get the camera straight. Let's work on the camera. I don't want the camera to be out of place. It's not following. All right, cool. Okay, so this just hit I. Now because the what's the thing called? I think of words. Because the keying is set like it is, any other outside object, if I hit I, it's going to give me an error and it won't allow me to use the keying set. So I have to go straight to that thing and just key it in. Okay, so for this, again, getting to this point, I want it to zoom in. I don't want it to start where she's going to go to the jump. So let's see where it's at. All right. Okay, so I want this to zoom in. So on the Y, just have it zoom in and then push up also. Okay. And then do all of that. Hit V, and I'm going to vector it. There's a reason for that because I don't want it to slowly go in, and I want it to be a straight shot. Okay, so let's look at the playback. Okay, so now she instantly starts to jump. All right, so let's stretch that out. Hit 0 to get to it. It's going to go straight into that. So now what I want to do is I want to aim this in her direction. Let's slightly turn it. Click, click. And I know she's going to jump, and this jump is going to follow her. So I'm just going to go to the end because I know that it's going to, that it goes to the, I'm sorry, not to the end. We're going to follow it. Let me come out of here so it'll move a little smoother. All right. So she jumps, say 20, 320. Let's go up. I'll follow her a little. Well, matter of fact, let's follow her completely. Slide this over some. All right, so the peak is there. All right. Now, this first one I'm going to leave as, I'm going to make it a vector. And the second one I'm going to leave like it is, and then this third one I'll make it a vector. Okay, you'll see why. So since it starts to move so quickly, I'm going to stretch this out some. Okay, so it's like, so I know she's going to start to jump. I'm trying to find it, so give me a second. It's like, there we go. Okay, so now we know she's descending. Just select it all. Select it all. Select it all. I'm just trying to make sure that the everything's selected so it doesn't give me some weird read. Okay, so it's gonna go back here, and then this one is gonna be to there. All right, so it's like, okay, so since it took so long, let me, okay, it's too fast. But let me explain something. I don't want, when she jumps, I don't want her to come back down. So I want her to be at her peak, right? So let's delete this part. I'm going to keep this as a as auto clamped, and let me show you what I'm going to do next. I'm going to hit Y. Okay, when you hit Y, it allows you to split one of these, and I'm just going to hit X and delete it. With this selected, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go floating in air. Okay, so she's going to automatically go to that. The problem is when she goes to that, I want it to just go straight to that, but I want us to reach to that point. So now I realize, like, it's just too quick. Okay, so I wanted to transition into that. All right, so let's make that transition into that. So from this point, to, let's just add 20 frames. I'm gonna click this and go S4. Okay, bring it in, squeeze these two, and Shift T, and it's gonna create a transition. Okay, so see how she starts to go up. Okay, so now it's transitioning to that point, to that part. All right, so here is where I'm going to have to start to follow. So let me see where she's at. So she went up to that point. All right, and I think I may need to delete this because it went too far. What the hell? Okay, there she is. I was like, what happened? It did it again. Okay. Bruh, tripping. What in the world, man? Okay, so all right. I don't know why it's doing that, but okay. I really genuinely don't know why it's snapping like that. Let's take our time with it. All right, so let's see what we get. I want this to travel with it. I don't want it to get in the way. Now, see what happened there? That's so weird. Oh, she's going to start to descend. But I wanted to stay there. And the best way to do that is now I would create a pose, right? So let's go ahead and create a pose. Let me show you. Now, again, this is a workflow. So we see there's no pose library, right? So what I'll do is I'll create one. I'm just going to call it Kalita Poses 1. All right. Always hit the shield for fake user. Going to click this. I'm going to go Kalita _ floating. All right. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to create an add. So there's already an addition up here. All right, so let's just add one more. Again, it's already selected, so I'm going to hit the end key, make sure. And then I'm going to hit this. I just wanted that there so that there's already it's already something there for it. So let's expand this to about 1,000, the end key. Okay, so here, this is going to take over because I'm going to control the pelvis. Okay, so I'm going to grab her pelvis. All right, and I'm going to station it. All right, so I'm going to split this animation. All right, let me show you how I'm going to do. So I'm going to split this animation. I'm going to move it over and try not to. If you open this up, it's going to change the animation. So, I mean, it's going to extend it back out again. We don't want that. Excuse me. So I'm going to hold it here. And then just say, let's go plus 60 times 2. All right. So it's already past the point I want it to be. I don't want that. So I want it here to there. I'm going to hold. All right. So it's going to stay there. It's not going to go anywhere. All right. But because it's staying there for X amount of time, and then it's going to drop. Okay, so I want this to hold there. Okay, but in this case, I'm going to go every, I think, 20 frames, and I'm going to push up, and then another 20, well, maybe 30 frames. I'll push back to this original, and then another 20. I'll go back up again, and then in 30 frames, I think, I'll go back. Well, I'll just let that descend slowly because she's going to start to go in that position. Okay, so now also here, I'm going to go down here, go to the bones. I'm going to go to her head and neck. So once she gets up here, she's going to be looking down. Let's come out of that, go back to the rotation tool. I'm going to go to her neck, and I'm going to have her just look straight down. Okay, because now she's looking at whoever it is that just upset her. All right. All right, let me select that bone because I don't need it. All right. Okay, so there we go. All right, so now she's already looking down, and then from that point to this point, she's going to get ready or prepare to go downward. But I'm going to select these two. I'm going to do this. Now let me show you something. I'm hitting I. This should be deleted. All right, so on these two, okay, so let's click that. I'm going to create a noise. All right, so I'm going to go, and I know it's on rotation, so I'm going to do it on X rotation. Come over to noise, and I'm gonna give it a restriction. Okay, so that restriction is going to be from 345 to 460, 465. Okay, so this is going to go up and down. Okay, and I wanted to do it because we're doing 60 frames a second, so I'm going to go half a second. So I'm going to go, well, let's go 60. All right, and then make this 0.1. All right, so this same thing I'm going to copy, and I'm going to add to the head also. So let's add it to the head, but the difference is I'm going to offset this one. I don't know how to do that. Just paste it, and then I'm going to change its offset. So I'm going to go 0.3 on the offset so that it doesn't do it at the same rate. You're going to push it down. Okay, so now right here at 465, I'm going to push this one forward because now it's going to go to that position. So now again, we're going to go back to the camera because I want to make adjustments. So I know the camera is still here, okay, but I want the camera to slowly zoom in on her because she's looking down at whoever just upset her. Okay, all right, and then let's make sure we hit I on all of that. Okay, so this part I'm going to vector. I keep hitting X instead of V, and then she's going to get ready to go down. So as she's going down, because she's going to instantly start, okay, I want to follow her. Okay, right, so let's hit 90 because she's going to instantly start to go down. Like, it's going to be quick. Okay, now understand this part right here, we're going to go back and make adjustments because we're going to be on top of this. So again, the NLA can help you do a lot of little bitty things. All right, and then on this bottom one, because understand, if it's long as it's on replace, this is a replace strip. But this strip is for, I'm sorry, this is on replace. This strip, even though it's saying add on the strip itself, okay, it's on replace. All right, so if I come here, this one, this strip is replacing, and this one is adding right now. I know it might seem like, what? Like, yes, that's what's happening. Okay, so let's go to the camera, and I want the camera to say at 5, well, let's say 600. Let's just go to 600, even 600. And I'm gonna just slowly ease this up and take this back to 0. And push it in just so slightly. Hit I on all of that again, and this one I'm gonna vector. I'm hitting everything but vector. Okay, so now let's just end the animation at 600. Okay. No, let's do 660. Okay, so I'll take this down to there and just duplicate. All right, so I'm gonna, for the sake of it, go here, and I want to give it a bit of noise, not a whole lot. So say 50 at 0.01. All right, I'm gonna copy that on the Z, and I'm gonna paste it to the Y also and push it down. So now it has an NLA, and then we're gonna follow it. So let's go in here and follow it. Okay, so the camera needs to be adjusted a little bit. Okay, so I like how she's looking, but I'm gonna add something else to her animation. So let me play it back real quick. All right, so yeah, the way that it jumps down. Okay, let's open this up, go to camera. Let me just adjust this like that instead of doing all that. All right, so this one gets deleted, or does it? Hold on. All right, so I see what I need to do right here. Something's off. Let me Victor this one because it should change the way that it. Nope. Take it back to auto clamped. I know what to do. All right, so this is on the X. Let's go to the X. All right, so on these right here, again, we're playing with the NLA now. So I'm going here. I'm gonna add a smooth. Where is it? Yeah, and a blend ease. But I'm gonna give them a free handle, and I'm gonna change this because I need this to be down some. Just like right there, it's just so funky. I don't like it. Okay, so right here, that little bit of a change. See that? This small little space right here. In that transition, I don't like how it seems to not reach. I guess it's fine. I don't know. Let's find out. Let me go back to the beginning and just look at it. Okay, so she's not looking down enough. Well, I mean, we had to adjust her eyes. Okay, so this part where she goes down, right? Right here. This part, I'm at the free. I can only free that one because the other one is locked for a reason. So what I'm thinking is push this up. Let's see what happens. Oh, that was pretty. That was pretty. But it's crooked, and I don't know why it's crooked. Is it this? That's skewing? Yeah, that's skewing it. Never mind. All right, so hold on. Okay. Man, that is so annoying. If it was any tighter, you know. I don't know. Ooh, that's bad. Hold on. I think right here, this needs to slide out a little bit. And then here, slowly go up. All right, there we go. So this and this needs to be even. This scale Y, so they're even again. And there's no weirdness. All right. Okay, so let's make adjustments to her head because again, like I told you, we're gonna go here and do that. Come out, and she's gonna look up. So neck and head are gonna go back to their start positions. Oh, I clicked everything but what I needed. All right, cool. And then as she goes down, have this. I'm gonna extend it. It's fine. Extend it. All right. So let's see here. Okay. So in 32 frames, she'll lift her head up. All right. So now what I'll do is come in and turn this on, and I'll grab her pupils. Because she's looking down. So okay. And I'll GZ. Hold on. GZ. Oh, it don't want to work. What? Why is it doing the opposite? Oh, the origin. Go to median point. Global. All right. It's still not working properly. All right, cool. So I'll come over here and do that. All right. So now when I look at it from here, she's looking down. And then I want her to look back up. So come back over to animation, go back to her pupils. Ooh, I didn't change it where I need to be changed. I didn't add the, okay. That's fun times. All right, so go to 0. Here, I'm gonna put it to 0. Location, rotation, right here. I'll come in, hold shift, and push it down. Okay, so now when she gets to the next location, the next place where she goes to float down, boom. All right, we're gonna go down there. I'm gonna do the same thing here, and then as she, hold on, let me make sure. Let's see where she's landing. All right, go forward some. I'll go back to the default. This time we're gonna push it up some because we want her to be looking upward, and then push those down. All right. So again, the NLA, it allows us to be able to do a multitude of things to integrate animations and actions that you would have to overly think. There we go. Okay, so I know right here I want her to blink, but for some reason the camera stops moving at the end right there. And I know like this. Okay. I want it to still have its motions. So I feel like this Y and Y, the Y, I don't know why it's not moving, but I'm gonna go back to this modifier and I'm gonna bump it up to 0.2. Come out of here and get to the end here. I just want to see why isn't it moving still. Okay, so it's there's no forward motion. That's what it is. I still want a forward motion on it. And I'm thinking I'm gonna rotate this a little bit. And I want it to go up some more. All right, there we go. Cool. All right, so when you come back in here, let's look at it. Again, just a simple action. Excuse me. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It doesn't have to be over the top. Just something super simple. All right, so I know when she started, she was blinking. So for the sake of that, I know that blinking is in this one. So what I'll do is just go back. Go to her eyes. Open it up. Click it. Know that it's there. I'm going to copy, save, move forward. She's looking down. I'm going to have her blink again. I want it to only be where we can see her do it. Blink. And blink. All right. And go to playback and let's play it. All right, so now for the sake of it, to make it even more fun, let's go and append a um, facial animation. Okay. So where did I put it? Where is it? Is it in here? I don't think it is. Yep. Okay. So actions. I need the lib pose. Goes into the pose library. I'm gonna go lib. Boom. Close this. So we have rhubarb lip sync. We're gonna do some lip sync just for the sake of making it more interesting and fun. All right, let me come in here and boost this up. All right. Okay, so her mouth is right here selected. Let me make sure her brows are not still selected. Unselect that. Unselect anything in there. Let's click everything. Unselect. Just go to her face. All right. So on rhubarb, you have to have uh, files like it has to be a WAV file. Over here it can be MP3 in the sequencer. Okay, so I'm gonna pull from my trailer. I had what is it, characters, Kalita. I don't think I have a split line, and I don't want it to be a long line. Goodness gracious. Eee. Okay. Dang. I know what to do. Make this simple. All right, so I'll go and pull her line like this. All right, so let's go Kalita. Say, let's go that one.
Dara, I am asking you to help me. Not asking for permission. Not asking for permission to do my mission. I need help me. I need information on the overlords. Something that can help me.
Okay, so right here, hit K. In this one you hit K and not Y. You select it and you hit Shift S and it automatically sync it to that. But let me explain what I'm doing right here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click this. I'm gonna go to render and I'm gonna render audio. Okay, so it allows me to render it a specific way. Come in here, character models, or what I say anime version. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna go VOs. Let's do that again. VOs, and then I'll just go. I want this to be a wave, so I'm gonna just say Kalita underscore VOs, and just go. All right, and then mix down. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this is so that I can come and use that over here. All right, so now I'm gonna go over here. It's funny now. Let's go to VOs, Kalita, and there's the line. All right, so I'll bring it in, and boom, now she can do the line, and we'll hit sync. Okay. So again, workflows that help you, because now I can go and cut that audio, export it, bring it in, and then I have the cut that I need. So it's going to go through its thing, drop everything down here, and then it's going to add another one on top of that. Okay. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to, so let's click something here, because in order to see everything, I need this click. I'm going to go to animate. I'm going to add one more slider, which will be the push-pull slider. I'm going to go overshoot. So click the little cogs on the side, overshoot. And here I'm going to hit X and clean frames. I'm not trying to use frames I don't need. Okay, so I'll hit this once. I'm going to hit this one and this one. So it's just my workflow. Okay, so you can do this however you choose. Okay, so let's get in tight on that, and I want this animation to stand out by itself, so I'm going to cut all of these off. Okay. Is this adding or subtracting? Oh Lord, it might be subtracting, because her whole face just went retarded. All right. Okay, well, let's let it play anyway.
I need information on the overlords. Something that can help me.
Okay, so she's still floating, which is crazy because I don't need this like this. So let me undo this. Let's add a track. Gonna go add, and now I'm gonna go play. All right. So again, remember, always add because you don't want the issue I just had a second ago. Okay. So again, do this again. I'm gonna go and clean it. Clean channels. Come in, boom, click, boom, boom, click. All right, cool. Now, when I turn this one off, it's still doing that. Why? What is selected? It shouldn't be. Huh, interesting.
I need information
That is so weird, bruh.
on the overlords. Something that can help me.
Okay, so now the dynamic changed here, right? So I'm thinking this would be better if when she hits the ground. But let's see what happens here at the beginning. So I'm gonna push this down. I'm gonna bring everything back. Okay. All right. So let's look at it through the playback.
I need information on the overlords. Something that can help me.
All right. So this part right here, I don't want. So what I'll do is I'll delete this part. Okay. All right. And then we'll come in here, and this last part here, we'll even delete this part. All right. Delete those keyframes, and then because of where it stops it, I'll just location rotation, and we come in and do a channel, clean channels. Okay. All right, close it, and we're ready to rock. Now let's go.
I need information on the overlords.
Boom. Okay. So now again, we're stacking animation, and boom. All right. So again, I just did some random actions, but I just wanted you to see how the NLA could help you build uh, on an animation you have. So when we look at this NLA, let me go to an actual because I actually have an NLA. Do I have one? I don't have it over here. Okay. So let's create one now. NLA. All right, because I usually have one of these. I'm gonna come over here and just gonna go NLA. This is all it's gonna be for, nothing else. All right. And so when you look at it, you could literally see that there are different transitions here where I can go between animations. I still have my default animation here, but when she lands, let me show you here. This is the thing that I want to show you. Okay, so when she lands right here, I want another animation to take over. So the animation I want to take over would actually be something akin to maybe her crossing her arms, right? So I know I wanted to transition, so I'm just going to add 10 frames. I'm going to add 10 frames, and then I'm going to hit another transition, which is Control T. So let's see how that plays out. Let's go back to playback and play it.
I need information on the overlords. I need information.
Okay, so now even though she's bobbing her head or whatnot right there, let's go back to the NLA. I don't want that to work like that. So I'm gonna hold on. Let me go to the beginning of that one. Delete this. Again, you have to have that track selected, and then you pick the track that you want. So I know I can go back to her idle. Okay. So what I'm thinking is I'll go back to her idle, or let's see. Yeah. Let's go back to her default idle because I don't have another one in here. And we're just going to add 10 frames. Again, the Control T. I mean, Shift T. And then I want this to follow because it's not following. Make sure we follow. All right. Okay. All right. And then go back to playback.
I need information on the overlords.
And then she'll transition back. See?
I need information on the overlords. I
So now, this is another thing too, is because that transition is so fast, go back to the NLA right here. What I want to do is extend this. So I'll extend this 10 frames, right? And let's just make that transition a little bit smoother. Go back to playback. I'm just gonna slide it back some. Let's just say 300. All right, hit play. There we go. So that
need
transition is a lot
information.
smoother. So again, just trying to find the spacing. So I find that often uh, people are trying to do all of that in one strip, and right here you can get multiple. You can get multiple things done, all from one strip that's on a replace. Basically, the replace completely changes something out. So I'm not going to show you the errors that occur because I'm telling you the error will occur if you attempt to try, if you make any attempt to add an animation on top of that and it says replace, even if it's add and they have the same data, so to speak. So a good example is this standard animation has one and it has a particular data set that's a part of the animation or animation data. And then if I take that, is say I take the jump animation and put it on top of it. The jump animation is going to replace it. So the bottom animation is not going to work because they have the same data, meaning not the same animation, but the way that the bones move, rotate, and scale. So you have to understand that if you add to it, they will counteract each other. So they will literally fight. So they will try to fight for that space. So you'll get a weird outcome. So anytime you're adding, you need to be adding to your animations on bones that, like, just on top of it. Like, for instance, you saw me make this move here where she puts her arm out. That is on top. They don't have the same animation data, okay? So meaning that they don't have the same rotation set. Even though it's still rotating, it's just adding to the animation. So the animation that's underneath it still plays, but this is only going on top. But replace will literally fight for the same space. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want them to fight for the same space. Okay, and this is how you end up with this. So with that being said, let's play it one more time and go from there.
I need information on the overlords.
Okay, so now I just want to reiterate, anytime you're using the NLA, okay, it can be quite powerful because you are able to do transitions and movements. Usually I would end up doing more than one camera action instead of one. All right. Even here where I can move where her eyes move, I can change this up because now I have control of it, because no matter where that animation is, even though here it's got itself situated in scale to start at frame 344, or I think it's 344, 344 or 345. No matter where I put this strip, it's going to work because it's still using that animation data. All right. So I hope that helps someone. I hope that, you get something from this instead of just trying to get to the end result. Learn the process and the things that you can do here and there. Leave a comment. Don't forget to like, share this with someone that is learning, that's trying to get up to this point, because you can use this for countless things, multiple objects, multiple things in a scene. This way you're not stuck. Okay. All right. So with that being said, man, holla at you people later. Nothing but love.